Is being a stay-at-home mom a privilege or a sacrifice? In my opinion, it's both. I was having a conversation with my ex last night, and he was just so stuck on the fact that he had given me this amazing privilege to do nothing, to just be a stay-at-home mom and to not work. And I don't see it that way. Yes, I see it as a privilege because most people in this society, they don't have that option. And I appreciate the fact that he was financially stable enough to let me do that. I genuinely do appreciate it. But it pisses me off when he says that it's a privilege and not acknowledge the sacrifice that it was. When you're a stay-at-home mom, it's a 24/7 job. You don't get any switching of tasks. You're doing the same thing from the time you open your eyes to the time you close them. And not only that, but I had a career and I stepped away from it. So during that time, I had foregone a lot of my income, a lot of the progress that I could have made towards some career goals.
So let me get this straight now, because I just want to make sure that we all on the same page, family. We have women that are sitting here complaining that a man makes more than enough money to make sure, and she said her ex, right? So I'm assuming that he's still taking care of her, even though they broke up the relationship. I'm not gonna make no assumptions. We just gonna take it at face value. So she's complaining because he takes care of her and provides her with an opportunity to be able to be a stay at home mother, which means that you don't have to worry about the daycare raising your children. Back in our day, we used to have latchkeys, so the kids whose parents or whose single mother was not able to pick them up directly after school because they had to work late or whatever, then basically the school was raising your child, and or grandmother, because the mother was working so much and she didn't have the capacity to actually nurture her children. One of the things that my wife has constantly communicated to me was that she is so thankful that she didn't have to go into work because it allowed for her to really nurture and raise our daughter into being who we wanted her to be and to have our values instead of whoever it is that's raising them and watching them at that particular time. She did not have to work, and she had the option to go to work after my daughter was in school full time, and she could went to school and did whatever. But those early years of forming the mindset and to set your values and to have that bonding process, which I was able to also work from home too, allowed for us to be able to nurture our child and not necessarily care about money. I believe that women are too focused on money. They're too focused on career. They have lost the plot. And then you go to school, and then you get all of this degree, and you get all of this student loan debt. And then you go and you do whatever this is, and then you let the system raise your child. You come back, and then you start to complain to us that your children is not meeting the expectation because you didn't have the help or you didn't have the support system that you wanted, or you say that the man that you're with don't make enough resources for you to really be able to be in your nurturing capabilities because you chose to have a child. But you finally get a situation, because today is accountability day, ladies and gentlemen. And I always like to link back to the content creator in order to give credit. But today is accountability day because I see too many women complaining. You complain when you have, you complain when you don't. I just did a video of a woman that was complaining that she had a phenomenal man, 3 kids. He's the greatest man ever, phenomenal father, awesome husband, but she can't find herself. So she's contemplating divorce because she just don't know who she is and she's struggling to write her vows. What are we talking about, y'all? What the heck are we talking about? Are y'all being influenced by what is happening on social media from other women that is struggling, that you just want to be a trauma bond with these people and you're looking forward to divesting yourself against the situation that you find yourself in, which is a blessing. I'm not even going to say a privilege. Let's put things in its proper context. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to, the most important thing in your life when you have a child is the child. And let's be clear, you chose to have a child, and so that child deserves to be raised in the admonition of their parents. The most beautiful thing that you will ever have, because I'm going to just tell you, of all of the things, and I know that my purpose is the most important thing to me now that my daughter is grown, not grown, but she's driving and she's a senior and she has the ability to be able to get back and forth. When I talk to her every day and she goes to practice and she's, really dedicated and she has the values, setting those early values in your child is going to be immeasurable. You'll never be able to get the time back. You'll never be able to get a do-over. That's why a lot of people say, well, my second or my third or my fourth it turned out way better than my first because you acted like an experimental situation with your first child. And I see women that are struggling every single day, crying, talking about, I can't believe it. I don't have no help. I don't have the ability. I'm getting thrown out on my face, rent, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't have no babysitter. I'm probably going to have to go into a shelter even though I got a full-time job and I got to get food stamps and I need to get. I see women that are, you see me. I do the review videos here. We have a conversation, but you finally get a woman that decides that she want to have children. She then has the financial support and she's talking about her goddamn career. Your career? Your career is more important than your child. And I'm not gonna kill her completely because she did acknowledge that she was thankful, but it seemed like she's not really thankful because she's looking at this with a glass half empty mentality as though everything is all bad because she has to be accountable for her child. And then her child is one day probably gonna grow up and see this type of video and be like, what the fuck, was I not good enough? You chose to have me. I didn't choose to be here. But again, we live in a society where it's a thankless job to be a man. The guy don't even require anything from her as far as what she's communicating. All he's saying is that, listen, he trying to communicate. You blessed. You blessed. You in a blessed, privileged position. Very few women today that chose feminism over their family has the ability to be able to do the thing that you're doing. And so you acting like it's a thing. All you got to do is be a mother. That's it. And then I seen women in the comments of this video, which inspired me to actually react to this video. I seen women in the comments of this video talking about, yeah, girl, they acting like changing diapers. You ain't got to do, hold on. Let's be clear. Because I've been heavy in my daughter's life. Y'all ain't even got to do shit. The washing machine stop itself. The dryer will keep going on its own. If it senses that the clothes is still wet, you got dishwashers. Back in the day, the women actually had to grind. They was doing the manual stuff. They was hanging clothes on a clothesline. They was doing all of that stuff. They was paying bills, and most of them still had some form of job and had to go to work. And they raised way more children. Y'all get one fucking child and y'all ready to crash out. Then you turn into a crash dummy. Now y'all got all of these problems, postpartum and all of this dumb shit. And it's like, yo, grow the fuck up and learn that you are blessed and privileged. Some people, honestly, I just believe that they need to suffer. Because if they don't suffer, if they don't go through it, then they'll never appreciate it. Let me say it again for the people in the back. If they don't suffer and they don't go through it, they never gonna appreciate it. They really not. And I'm just, what do you want? I feel sorry for my fellas out here. This is why I feel sorry for them. This is why I tell y'all got to stay on y'all purpose and don't look for happiness in another person. Becoming interdependent on a woman for your happiness, she'll disappoint you. You need to find happiness within yourself and just look at her as a plus one. That's it. That's it. Because they're going to get on this app. They're going to tell all your business. They're going to embarrass you. And they're going to embarrass a child. And then they're going to be sitting there talking about how they can't find nobody to understand them and how they don't understand why people don't understand them. It's stupid. It's crazy. It's unfortunate, but this is the world that we live in. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. Again, I always like to link back to the content creator. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Feel free to let me know what y'all think inside of the comments on this one because I'm sick of these people complaining.